You have a fluffy bit and a fluffy bit. Lay the fluffy bit from your fiber. Hey everyone, I'm Jo from Fiber Flow, and today we've got a spinning instructional video for you. This is just a very intro video to get you started, and hopefully once you get to know your wheel, you can know what kinds of videos to look up. So today we're going to talk about a couple things to get you started. And the very first that we want to look at is your posture. With spinning, you want to make sure that your back is upright, you're not slouching over like this or leaning forward too close to your wheel. You just want a nice relaxed back, but sitting upright and your shoulders are back. I find that having a firm chair really helps me keep this in mind, but feel free to use any chair that's comfortable for you. The next thing to look at with posture is the positioning of your hips and your legs. You want to be far enough from the wheel so that your legs are at a little bit past 90-degree angle. So you don't want them all the way back like this so that they're less than 90 degrees, because a lot of the strain will be coming from your knees. You want to be able to extend your legs this way so that when you're treadling, you are using your ankles and you shouldn't be feeling any of the muscle tension from your calves or your quads. You don't want this to be a strenuous workout. You want it to be nice, relaxing, and coming mostly from your ankles. So once you have the correct posture, let's talk about treadling. So with treadling, a few things to keep in mind is that you want a nice, steady rate of treadling. And how you're going to achieve that is by practicing. The very first thing is to sit at your wheel and don't even bother taking out fiber or your bobbin yet. I want you to just sit at the wheel and just treadle, just to get a feel for it. The more you practice doing this and the more natural it is, the easier you're going to find working with the fiber later to be. Tonight when you're watching TV, just sit and treadle at your wheel. So I've got a double treadle here, and if you've got a single treadle, a helpful tip that I learned was 1 o'clock is going to be your main marker. If you treadle once, see where your wheel stops, and if it stops at 1 o'clock, that's going to be the perfect spot for you to continue your next treadle, and that will allow you to push down with the most force so that it can make a full rotation again. With a double treadle, it's going to be easier because you'll be able to use your other foot if you get stuck. One treadling exercise that you can practice is the rate of your treadling or the speed. So something I want you to practice is to try treadling very fast. Start off. See how fast you can go and see how stable your wheel is. That will give you a good sense of how fast your wheel can go without it losing its balance. And once you've got that, slow down your treadling and see how slow you can go. And you'll be surprised, this will actually be harder than treadling fast. See the very slowest point that you can get it to go without it stalling on you. And if it stalls, you can just use your hands and get it going again. What you want to avoid is touching this part of the wheel too much to get it to go or to stop. And that's because over time it can shift it out of alignment. So just a few things to keep in mind. An easy exercise for you to practice is to just treadle at your wheel and try doing something different with your hands. Amy King is a fabulous spinning teacher, and I took a video class, and something she suggested to do is to practice treadling and doing something with your hands like knitting. And what you'll find is if you start treadling fast, you will start knitting very fast. Or if you try to slow down your treadle, your knitting might also slow down. A good thing to practice so that you can coordinate your hands and your feet is to try treadling very slowly, but try knitting fast. And once you've got the hang of that, switch it, and now this time, try treadling very fast, but knitting slow. And once you get the hang of this, being able to coordinate different speeds, then being able to have fiber in your hands and to draft it while you might be treadling quicker, is going to help you a lot. So let's talk about drafting with your hands next. So before I even get the bobbin onto the wheel, I'm going to show you how to prepare your fiber for spinning. So this is a combed top, which means all of the fibers have been combed in the same direction and all of the short little fibers have been combed out. Combed top is ideal for a worsted spinning style, and this produces a very smooth yarn that is ideal for socks, mittens, anything that has high abrasion. So to prepare this fiber for spinning, I'm going to pre-draft it. I'm just going to pull off a small chunk of the fiber, and I'm just going to split this in half. You'll find that it's easier to work with. So now you've got a small strip of the fiber, and you can pre-draft it by just pulling firmly on each end. And you'll see that if you pull too much, you'll start to be able to see through it, which is not what you want. We want to be able to keep the fiber still together and not pull past the staple length. So once you've pre-drafted your fiber, I'll show you how you will hold it. One hand is going to be your drafting hand, and the other hand is going to be for holding the fiber. Depending on if you're left or right-handed, you might want to experiment with both because you'll find that you're more comfortable with one or the other. Although something I've been practicing is spinning with both my left and right hand as the fiber, as the drafting hand, because I think in the future this can prevent some overuse injuries that I might develop. Having that flexibility allows me to switch over to the other side and not have to take too many days off. All right, so now let's get the bobbin onto the wheel so that I can show you how to get that fiber spun into yarn. All right, so we've got our bobbin on our wheel, and if you need to see more instructions on how to get that set up, there's lots of videos on YouTube, or check out my channel and I might have some videos about that. Before we get to spinning, I just want to explain a few things about what's going to affect the twist of your fiber. You've got these 3 different ratios for your whirls, and we want to start on the biggest one. If your wheel comes with a jumbo flyer with very big bobbins and whirls, it's best if you start there as a beginner. But in general, the bigger the whirl is, the less twist it's going to put into your fiber with each rotation of the wheel. And vice versa, the smaller the whirl is, the more twist it's going to put into your fiber with each rotation of the wheel. So when spinning short staple lengths that need a lot of high twist, you're going to want to go to the smallest whirl. Whereas today, as beginners, we're going to start with the largest whirl so that it gives us more time to draft. Another thing that affects the twist in your yarn is the tension knob. So this is a Scotch tension knob, and if we tighten the knob, it's going to pull the fiber onto the bobbin quicker. And what will happen is it has less time to put twist into the fiber. Whereas if we loosen up the tension knob, then it won't pull up with as much uptake and we'll have lots of time to let the twist go into the fiber. For the perfect amount of twist, you'll have to play around and see what the right tension is, but this will come with experience. To get started, this is how you want to position your hands, is either your left hand or your right hand in front and your other hand behind. To do your drafting, you're going to use your thumb and your index finger and just make a pinching motion like this. You're not pinching too hard, but just slightly so that you can pull the fiber. And your hand in the back, you don't want to grip the fiber too hard. You just want to lightly hold it in your hand. And an analogy that's often used is like holding a baby bird, just very lightly, but making sure it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm going to start treadling, and by this time, hopefully you've practiced your treadling so that now we can focus on the fiber in your hand. What we're going to do is pull a piece of the fiber forwards and then let the twist go in and pull back. Forward, pull back. Each time you're drafting the fiber, you'll see that it makes a triangle. That's called your drafting triangle, and you're trying to prevent any twist from going into your fiber triangle. You want to keep all of the twist in front of this hand, which means all of the twist is here and anything after this finger is not twisted. This is how you're going to be able to separate the fiber and pull it out. Pull it out, slide back, and let the twist in. Pull forward, slide back, pull forward, slide back. And this method is also called the inchworm because you want to do this inch by inch, slowly and consistently. Depending on your fiber, each will have different staple lengths. And the stable length of this fiber is quite long, so I can draft pretty far without it coming apart, like this. If you have a short staple length, then that means you're going to have to pull forward shorter, otherwise you'll see that the fiber comes apart like this. If it comes apart, not to worry, you can easily rejoin it, and all you have to do is get the fluffy bits together, start treadling again, and just rejoin the fluffy bits and let them twist together. I'll show that one more time. You have a fluffy bit and a fluffy bit. Lay the fluffy bit from your fiber and just attach them together. Lay it on top of each other. Start spinning and draft as normal, and you'll see that you can incorporate those fluffy fibers together again. Just keep practicing like this. And the key to consistency is to get about the same size and density of fiber each time. So you can look at the size of your triangle and try to get the same size each time, and that will help you get a consistent yarn. Well, that's it. That's all you need to know to get started spinning, and I hope you have so much fun with it because it's been such a joy in my life. Thanks for stopping by today. If you're interested in other knitting and spinning videos, subscribe to this channel, and I look forward to seeing you again.